Hello there and welcome to Tom's Warhammer Minis. The Cronos Parasite Engine is a disturbing and bizarre creation of the homunculi covens, and just like the Talos, is used as a torture device and war machine to cause absolute carnage and terror in the 40k universe. In this video, I'm covering this part of the Drukhari Combat Patrol. Now, already I have painted the Talos, and like all miniature painters, we learn and adapt from every model we paint. Now, while I'm using the exact same scheme as the Talos, it's got a slight tweak into what I call the Incubi Darkness. It's not a paint I've used, you'll know what I mean when you watch the video. It just makes this model and this process a lot quicker to do, and because this model is a lot simpler in the sense to the Talos' design, it means we can get this bad boy painted in next to no time at all. So, without further ado, grab your paints, grab your brushes, let's get on. And we're starting with our Cronos, and just to begin with, we're going to make a couple of points just to note. The model has been primed in White Scar. It is fully assembled, but obviously when I primed it, it was off the stand. It's now glued on the stand. Now, to begin with, we're focusing on the flesh. We're keeping it super nice and simple. It's a lot easier than the Talos model. So to begin with, focusing on the flesh, we're going to create a simple mix to begin with. If you see my other tutorial, you know exactly what we're doing here. 1 part Darkoath Flesh, 2 parts Magos Purple, and 4 parts of Lahmium Medium. Put that into a mix, create it together, mix it around, apply it on all those flesh details. Nice and simple. And next up, we're taking Pallid Wych Flesh. Once again, we're focusing on the fact that if we do all the other details first, dry brushing all of that skin can be a bit of a challenge in the sense that we don't want to spoil details a little further on. And while it's in this state, it's just best to do it now. I've taken a medium dry brush of Pallid Wych Flesh, just simply straight away all over, just trying to catch all the details, the different muscles, etc. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's already quite bright, the colour. There's already a lot of highlights that are in place because it's a contrast paint, and because it's thinned down, obviously it pulls away from the edges, but the Pallid Wych Flesh just adds that little bit extra. So get that done, and then we can move on to the next stage as the flesh is practically done. Next up, we're base coating all of that armour, and I have been a little bit messy here. So you can see there's some areas where it's pulled heavily. I'm not going to worry. And the reason why, if you've seen my other videos, you know exactly what we're doing here. This is the underlayer colour. Essentially what we're going to be doing in the next step is we're going to be painting a darker layer on top, leaving this colour as the edge highlight in place. So we'd be painting up to the edges, not including the edges, but we need that underlayer to begin with. So to create this colour, if you've seen my Talos tutorial, you'll know exactly what we're doing here. We're taking 1 part Aeldari Emerald, 1 part Akhelian Green, and 1 part of Lahmium Medium. Mixing that together, just applying it straight on. And you can see I've done every single armour panel on this model, including the entirety of the shield. Essentially what I'm going to do for the shield, so you get a bit of an idea, that inner layer where the recess is, we're going to leave as this colour, and then we'll be doing the darker area on the outside. Maybe even doing metallics, I haven't quite decided yet, but we're just doing it all over as you can see. So take your time. If it pulls heavily like you can see there, don't worry too much. As long as we got it on the edge and over every surface, that's okay. Obviously we don't want it too heavy in certain areas because we don't want to affect the model too greatly when we do the next stage. But something like this is absolutely perfect and is what you're looking for. And next up, we're base coating the armour, and it's going to be very similar in the sense to what I've done with the Talos. So if you've seen that tutorial, you know exactly what we're doing here, but there is a slight alteration. I talked about this last time where I decided I added a Lahmium Medium. Did I need to? In this one, I haven't. So let's start with the mix to begin with. And first of all, we're taking 2 parts of Black Legion, 1 part of Black Templar, and 3 parts of Terradon Turquoise, and I've mixed that together in a palette. Now in the Talos tutorial I added Lahmium Medium, in this one I haven't, and essentially the difference here is obviously it's going to be a lot thicker. It means we've got a lot less control in the sense of the thickness, so we've got to be very careful in that sense. We don't want it pulling heavily, but at the same time if we catch it on the edges it's going to be a bit more difficult to remove, so we have to be a lot quicker. But at the same time, the advantage by having no Lahmium Medium in this sense is I've only done 1 coat, and this is exactly what you get. Now the Talos model I had to do 2 to 3 coats on this kind of area. This one is 1 coat on all those areas. What I've done we're applying it straight on, and we're painting up to the edges, avoiding the edges, and that control we have just means that all the highlights are in place and that armor is completely done. I am going to add a little bit more to here, which I'm going to do in the next step, but essentially this is what you should get by doing it this way. It saves a lot of time, a lot of hassle, and it does leave this really professional looking finish. Essentially, it's like Incubi Darkness, but without having to paint umpteen layers. Next up, we're just taking some colours just to alter and enhance some details to make them stand out more. So, I'm not sure what this is. It's like some kind of tongue. Essentially, I've taken Volupus Pink off and put it straight over it. I just want to really kind of showcase it's fleshy. After all, it is a flesh abomination as well as a mechanical one. Moving on from that, I've taken Carroburg Crimson, and over all these tentacle arms, I've simply painted it on. Now, obviously this side, we're going to do in sort of bright green, bits of metallics, because that's what you got there. But on the fleshy side, you've got these little spikes. Essentially, what I've done with the Carroburg Crimson is I've painted the flesh, avoiding the spikes. So this gives a nice little contrast of bright, as well as the dark, fleshy pink. Once that's done, moving on to our sort of siphon disc at the back, I've taken Coelia Greenshade and simply applied it all over. I'm not worrying about the darker colour that I painted. Essentially, it just helps fix that kind of shadow effect, because you've got the little recess that we've got in the centre parts that it just looked a bit odd. That's the only way to describe it, and this is just a fixing paint that keeps the colour the same, but just adds a better recess shade to all those inner workings, and it just looks better. So once that's done, let it dry and we can move on. Next up, I'm keeping in theme with the other models I've done of the Drukhari Combat Patrol. Simply, we're taking Striking Scorpion Green. This is over all the cables, all the vials, etc. Now, one of the things just to point out, on the cables here, you've got these little metallic struts that are holding it down. Don't worry about painting over the top of them, because we're going to be base coating them in silver. Being a metallic paint, it's not contrast. We don't need to spoil the details, so just don't need to waste time. Just go straight over it all, because we'll be relayering the metallics in the next step. But essentially, this is what you should be ending up with. We're going to be a bit cheeky later on, using gloss varnish like I did on the Talos model, just to pinpoint those vials, and stuff, and make them stand out a little bit more with natural light. But for now, this is where we are, and we're going to move on to the metallic details. And next up, we're base coating our metallic details. We're going to start nice and simple. We're going to start with the mask. And it's that only area that I've done something slightly different. Same as with the Talos, I've just taken Brass Scorpion. Just creates a bit of area of distinction and different colour. But for all of our remaining details, I've simply painted and base coated them in Iron Warriors. There's not really much to point out in that sense. Obviously, you've got the little spikes and stuff. It is these claws here, as I said, where we painted straight over before. We're just taking our time, picking out each one, and it is on both sides, as you can see. Doesn't take too long, but it's a fair bit of time. So once that's done, every part of your model should now have paint on. Just let it dry and then we can shade it. Next up, I'm shading all of those silver details. I'm not worrying about the Brass Scorpion because it's on a flat surface area and I don't want to ruin that shine. But for all of our large areas, I've taken Nuln Oil and simply shaded it on. It's a classic for silver. The only bits I haven't done are these little tiny bits down here. They are quite small, in a sense, because I'm going to gloss varnish all of the green. They're going to get a natural kind of shine anyway. And again, the same for the spikes, but all the remaining details, the chains, the hooks, the weapons, even the little bits on the skin where you've got these little marks here, I've just applied a small dot of Nuln Oil just for a recess shade. It's that kind of aspect. So do as little or as much as you want to. Obviously the big areas you do want to shade because there are lots of details here that the Nuln Oil just perfectly fits into. So we get that done, and we need to let it completely dry before we highlight it. Next up, we're dry brushing Stormhost Silver over those details. Not all of them, because obviously you don't want to catch the armor that we've done, and because we haven't shaded the spikes, they've still got that natural shine in the metallic quality of the paints. But all these big areas that we can reach with a dry brush, we're simply catching them with Stormhost Silver, just picking out the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to be adding something else in the next step, but for now, that's what we've done. Moving on from that, I've taken Ardcoat, just like as I said, and you can just about see it here, that shine across all the Striking Scorpion Green. I've just applied it over every single bit. Nice and simple. I've also applied it over the tongue, just to give it that sort of wet, odd vibe. Again, we'll be adding to that in the next step with the silver details. And finally, we want to show off the gruesome terror of this engine of absolute torment and torture. And I'm using Blood for the Blood God. Quite simply, I've taken a dry brush, worked most of that paint off and literally just stippling it onto the details up here. Now you can go as crazy as much as you want to, it's your model. I want to show off the colours that I've done here without, you know, overdoing the blood. But on the weapons up here, on the sides, I've gone, you know, to town on it. And a bit more heavily, rather than working the Blood for the Blood God paint off onto a paper towel, I've taken a little bit on the brush, on the dry brush again, and just gone straight to the tongue, just to really, you know, gorify it, give it that real gorish shine. So that's what I've done. And with that, our model is complete. And there we have it. The Cronos Parasite Engine is complete. Same kit and style to the Talos, but much less intimidating to approach in painting terms. And, potentially as you can see, really super quick and easy to paint up. And make it look incredible in such a fast way too. Again, it's the power of contrast, and a personal joy for me to showcase to all of you. Now, if this video has inspired your ideas for your own Drukhari army, then be sure to give this video a like. Share the video too, because that means others can discover the channel and all the content within, including many award-winning models that you can absolutely recreate yourselves. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest tutorials and guides that I'm creating. Every bit of support is really appreciated, and it's vital, and it does something truly wonderful, because supporting me means I get to continue supporting you, the awesome Warhammer community. So, until the next time, do look after yourselves, and happy hobbying.